to my Aptera Odyssey, where I chronicle my experiences acquiring and owning the very unique Aptera Launch Edition electric vehicle. In this episode, I will share why I chose to invest in Aptera despite the financial risk and other apprehensions. The last time I was this excited about a new piece of technology was when the Apple Macintosh was introduced in late January of 1984. I had one in my hands by that April. I borrowed from my 401k to buy it. I only wished I'd also bought Apple stock at that time. If I had, I think I would be quite wealthy now. While Apple didn't start using its Think Different ad campaign until 1997, the slogan Think Different really summed up what was special about the Macintosh, and it applies to Aptera as well. Unlike other automobile manufacturers, Aptera is thinking differently about efficiency as it applies to manufacturing, as it applies to mobility, and the impact it has on the environment. Oh yeah, the car looks really cool too, and that's one of my apprehensions. I'm really not the type that likes to draw attention. Let's face it, driving this car will attract attention. Frankly, I worry if it will also attract thieves and vandals, but I'm willing to take that risk. Another concern is maintenance and repair. Aptera believes in right to repair and says the car is easy to maintain, just the tires and window washer fluid, and is easy to repair. All the parts have QR codes and they will overnight replacements. I will have more on maintenance and repair in a future episode. So the big risk is a financial one. Now let me start out with the obligatory disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor and I'm not selling anything. The information I'm sharing in this video is for informational purposes only and should not be construed as financial advice. You should consult with your own financial advisor before making any investment decisions. That said, here's why I personally feel good about investing in Aptera. The founders have thought differently and creatively about raising money. In addition to the standard methods of seeking loans, grants, and investments by venture capitalists, they have been very successful using crowdfunding. In fact, back in May, the SuperCrowd Incorporated, a public benefit corporation, presented Aptera co-CEOs Steve Fambro and Chris Anthony with the first ever SuperCrowd Impact Crowdfunder of the Year award. When the announcement was made, they had raised over $60 million via crowdfunding. For instance, at Republic.com, you can invest in the company for as little as $210. Aptera started the Accelerator Program, which is doing well. Anyone who invests at least $10,000 gets put on a leaderboard for the first 2,000 vehicles produced. Among other things, the person with the highest total investment on the leaderboard will receive the first delivery slot, and the remaining 1,999 slots will be ranked by investment amount. I am participating in this program, but I'm nowhere near the top. In fact, my position keeps slipping down as time goes on and people invest more than me. This page shows the status of the program as of this recording. Another reason for optimism, Aptera applied for and received a $21 million grant from the California Energy Commission. This is a matching funds program, so along with the Accelerator Program, Aptera was able to start producing the dies it will need to build the 6 main body parts of the car, and they just received a shipment of the AGV robots that will be used to help produce the vehicles. Another factor, there is a strong interest in this electric vehicle. Aptera has received over 42,000 reservations, which equates to over $1.5 billion in potential revenue. This includes a fleet order of 101 vehicles by a company called Sustainability Sooner Incorporated. Like I said, I'm not a financial advisor and I'm not a Harvard business graduate either, but in my humble opinion, it does seem like the co-CEOs, Steve Fambro and Chris Anthony, are taking a smart, measured approach to making sure they have the capital they need ahead of production to ensure success. Here they talk about their 214-page application for the Department of Energy's Advanced Technology Vehicles Manufacturing Loan.
It's been a long time coming. It's been since we started working on it last year. So, you know, the DOE has a lot of, you know, information requests, and we have to have, you know, kind of a fully flushed application. And there was kind of a lot of things in limbo, you know, before we pinned the Delta design. So, you know, how we were going to manage the supply chain, how Italy was going to fit into that, how much we were going to do in California versus overseas. And obviously the Department of Energy wants to fund production and technologies here in the US. So we really had to have kind of a final, you know, plan to get the vehicle to production and all the pieces and parts that entail. And we were able to do that you know, over the last few months and get this application together. And it's a very detailed plan. It's got a lot of numbers and a lot of charts and a lot of great information. And it's off to the Department of Energy, and they are reviewing it now. And you know, the next gates are they kind of do an initial review, and they give us feedback on what it will take to make it a perfect application. And then once we kind of go through the feedback loop with them, then we'll finally get to a point where we can fully submit the application, and then they'll review it and say, okay, you're substantively complete,
Right.
substantially complete. And when it's substantially complete, that means that anything that we buy here can actually work against that loan application. So
Yeah, there's still some caution. I mean, we have to go through formal due diligence and that whole approval process, but it'll be a very big milestone when we get that substantially complete.
Well, the cool thing is, I think people ask, okay, it's great that you have this application, but when can you start spending money? When can you start to execute the plan? And ostensibly, it's when it's substantively complete. We can start to execute our plan and actually utilize a lot of that loan. That doesn't mean that it's granted, though. You have to actually get it granted, and that may take several months. But once it's granted, then you're just waiting on the funding for that to happen. So very cool effort by the team, and an awesome milestone. And it alludes to, you know, when we can start using that loan as we're using the CEC grant right now, which is great to have kind of the first approvals for equipment that you see on the floor here. And you know, I would love to be independently wealthy and be able to fund it myself, but you know, everything takes money to get this vehicle into production, and all this pretty equipment costs money. And the California Energy Commission has stepped up and is helping, and we are hopeful that the DOE process will go swimmingly.
Aptera's commitment to efficiency, clean energy, responsible manufacturing practices, and their creative and measured approach to raising capital all add up to the reason I invested in Aptera. I hope this video was informative. Thank you for watching, and I hope you'll join me on future episodes of my Aptera Odyssey.